Hello and welcome to the Eurogamer TV show, which this week brings you guns, with an exclusive look at the PC and 360 uniting Shadowrun, guys, as Sports Interactive indulges in some male bonding for Football Manager Live, and guitars as we challenge Red Octane boss Kai Huang to an axe-off. Before that,
Medal of Honor, Company of Heroes, Brothers in Arms, Day of Defeat, Call of Duty. Is there anywhere left for the World War II genre to go? Well, how about this place for starters?
yes, Midway's brand new first-person shooter Hour of Victory is set during World War II. But before you all groan with cynicism, Midway promises it has crafted a distinctive take on the conflict. Heard it all before? Well, let's find out. Which is why we're riding up this cable car towards the imposing structure of Hohenwerfen Castle high in the Austrian Alps. Ring any bells, film fans? Yes, Hohenwerfen Castle featured in classic 60s British war flick Where Eagles Dare, cast as Schloss Adler, literally the Castle of the Eagles. And links with the gung-ho Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood movie are crucial, we discover, in giving a taster of what to expect from the game. You see, Hour of Victory might look a lot like Call of Duty, but Midway is smart enough to know that it would be foolish for this wide-eyed new recruit to go toe-to-toe with Activision's decorated veteran. Which is exactly what we're told at the start of the presentation, deep within the bowels of the castle. And my word, are they defensive.
Now a lot of people say, well, why are you doing another World War II game? Do we need another World War II game? For the same reason we need another racing game, another FPS futuristic game. There is room for Our Victory, believe me, there is definitely room for it in the market. So don't write us off yet. I mean, Call of Duty 3 set the benchmark, we're not Call of Duty 3. Call of Duty 3 is the equivalent of Saving Private Ryan, whereas Our Victory is more equivalent to Where Eagles Dare.
Coming out on the back foot is an unusual way to start a presentation to the press, but it does speak volumes about the perception of the genre. But first, there's a war to be won. To hammer the point home, the level we see today is clearly inspired both by the castle we're standing in and the British blockbuster, with a cable car ride leading to a daring raid on a Nazi fortress. And while Hour of Victory borrows greedily from other war games, its unique draw is the opportunity to take control of 3 distinct characters, each possessing a different set of skills. You get to choose, and your decisions, in theory, fundamentally change the way you approach each section of the game. Your battle-hardened squad consists of Major Ambrose Taggart, American OSS operative, a silent shadow creeper who prefers the sneaking up from behind approach. Lieutenant William Ross, British SAS Commando. This double-R British bulldog is your man for piling into the action, all guns blazing. And finally, Sergeant Calvin Blackbull, US Army Ranger. An agile mover, Blackbull is also ideal for all you lazy campers thanks to his razor-sharp sniping skills. But will this truculent trio be enough to overwhelm the forces of cynicism and stake Hour of Victory's claim in a genre already crowded with quality? So much so that even Call of Duty has come over all modern.
Of course, we'd love to be the biggest, seller on the platform, but our real goal is to make a really entertaining first-person shooter. And I think, as long as we do that, I think the marketplace for the Xbox 360 is there. People are not just going to buy one first-person shooter for the Xbox 360. They're going to buy, many people are going to buy multiple. And our goal is really to be, give us a shot, allow us to be one of those that you buy, and that hopefully we'll be able to entertain you like the next biggest Microsoft first-person shooter or whatever else is coming down the line.
Exactly how much room is the big question, but let's for now focus on what Midway reckons separates Hour of Victory from the others.
One of the tones that we wanted to set for Hour of Victory is, we felt that the Saving Private Ryan tone is well serviced in the World War II genre, and we wanted to go for more like this Where Eagles Dare, which is where we came to this the fortress where they did a lot of filming for Where Eagles Dare, where it's a little bit more action focused. It's not quite as somber, and we felt like that's not something that has really been catered to as well in this World War II genre as the somber Saving Private Ryan tone.
The game's storyline reflects this attitude, in keeping with its big screen influences.
There's some humorous spots with dialogue and whatnot. I don't want to give the impression that it is completely over the top. You won't find cigar chomping guys talking about how many hundreds of kills they've gotten. We didn't want to go that far out, but again, like the tone with Where Eagles Dare, or we've mentioned more like Indiana Jones adventure than Saving Private Ryan before. That sort of feels kind of where we wanted to go.
With all that in mind, our location today couldn't be more appropriate. The castle itself has been around since the 11th century, roughly around the same time it feels like people started making World War II shooters. Before attaining immortality on the silver screen, it housed the rulers of Salzburg, and, more excitingly, also served as a shockingly violent state prison, complete with an amazing range of instruments of torture.
This is where they put you if you ask them why they've made yet another World War II game.
Hohenwerfen today merely imprisons the tourists, with tours on the inside and falconry on the outside. Make your own jokes about eagles and daring if you so wish. Frankly, we'd rather be running around shooting people, and happily, Midway agrees.
Well, today, a little bit earlier, we showed you what we were calling internally the fortress level, and it's very similar to this fortress here. There's a castle on top of a mountain, and the players are really trying to get up to the top of the mountain and end up rescuing this Dr. Fielder character. And so when we got the chance to actually come to the place where they did a lot of the filming, it just seemed like a perfect situation for us.
Aside from the single-player shenanigans, a separate team is under orders to deliver a multiplayer component deep enough to satisfy Xbox Live lovers.
We want to take full advantage of the Xbox Live features, so we're going to have, obviously the Xbox Live Aware. There's going to be multiplayer, online multiplayer, including System Link multiplayer, and we've got 3 different gameplay modes for multiplayer. The first one is Team Deathmatch. There's a Capture the Flag mode, and there's a third unique mode that we're calling Devastation.
So will that be enough to attract the seasoned eyes of shooter fanatics?
I think there are a lot of first-person shooters on Xbox 360. I think one of the main reasons there are is because the marketplace is really big. A lot of the people that bought Xbox 360s, they really enjoy those.
Having completed our interrogation, time to debrief one of Eurogamer's reviewing generals for his views on the war effort.
What they've come up with is the idea of combining a first-person shooter with the World War II and a kind of interesting twist on gaming. It's doing everything it should be doing. It's got authentic weapons and vehicles and tanks, and then it's just amped up those explosions a little bit more. So you throw a grenade, people fly through the air a little bit more than they probably should, and that kind of authenticity is there for people who love the time period. But it's also much more action. So I think it's going to catch the blasting aliens crowd a bit better.
World War II shooters, as Midway points out, continue to sell by the squadron load. So maybe, after all, war fatigue is the journalist's problem, not gamers. Climbing the stairway to gaming heaven, Guitar Hero was Eurogamer's 2006 Game of the Year. And Guitar Hero 2, turning it up to 11 on 360, has simply cemented the series' peerless credentials as the finest, most righteous music title money can buy. And the best excuse we've yet found for making a complete tit of yourself in public. But now, the crowd is screaming for more.
So, you've created the ultimate gaming peripheral, 2 of the finest music games ever made, and then, disaster, MTV poaches your finest team. So where next for Red Octane and Guitar Hero? We're on the rock bus to find out.
Yes, taking the conceit to its logical conclusion, series creator Red Octane now has its very own rock and roll tour bus, which wheeled its vomit and groupie-strewn innards into central London recently. On board was tour manager and Red Octane Riffmaster-in-Chief Kai Huang to give us the skinny on Guitar Hero 3.
What we're going to be able to add to Guitar Hero 3 and in the future versions of this game is really a lot around the areas of online, where people are really asking about online cooperative play, online competitive play. There's going to be a lot of content that we're going to offer through the next versions of Guitar Hero, so people can download songs and play all the songs that they've hoped to play in the past. And then there will be some really cool things with the features that we're doing for the game, including different modes of play.
But with developer Harmonix now part of MTV's supergroup, one of the all-time great music collaborations has come to an end. And like a bat out of hell, a rival to Guitar Hero has emerged in the shape of Rock Band. Harmonix attempt to deliver the complete four-piece experience to the living room.
Harmonix, again, is a fantastic developer, and we're actually really excited about what they're doing as well. Because what they're going to do is really to help us grow this really small but fast-growing genre of games, the music rhythm games. So the more exposure that's out there, the more products that are out there, the better it is for the overall space.
It's all smiles on the surface, but the battle of the bands is now on. And one area of Guitar Hero most agree could do with a retune is the track selection.
You know, when you can only fit so many songs onto one game, it becomes, you know, a very difficult job of picking the right ones, picking the ones that you think fans are really going to like, and then getting it out there. And of course, you're never going to please everybody that's out there. But the beauty of downloadable content, what we can do on Xbox Live and PS3, is that we're going to be able to offer a wider range of music out there to fit more musical tastes.
Aspiring axe wielders can also look forward to a bigger, better, ballsier range of guitars to satisfy the pickiest of string pluckers.
We've got designs for different guitars, whether that's new shapes or new colors. We've got designs, obviously, for wireless, which we'll be releasing at the end of this year for all the platforms. And then we're looking at really cool, interesting finishes and different ideas that we can do with the guitar to make them a little bit more exciting. And in fact, we're even looking at making some higher-end guitars that might be made out of real wood.
So, Mr. Huang, you talk the talk, but can you walk the walk?
Right now, I'd say I'm okay. I've reached a sticking point. I can finish all the songs on hard and just going through a few on expert, but that's kind of my sticking point right now.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Another triumph for the Eurogamer supergroup.
Bill Gates assured us at E3 last year that Microsoft's cross-platform gaming service Live Anywhere would take Live to the next level. Well, Shadowrun is the first game to allow 360 and PC users to play each other online. We're here at a special London demo event to find out A, if it's any good, and B, whether owners of either platform should give a monkeys.
Artifact taken. Lineage has possession.
At some point this coming summer, a fantasy first-person shooter based on a cult RPG franchise will usher in a new dawn for online gaming. Shadowrun from FASA Interactive is the first game to offer direct competitive gameplay between PC and Xbox 360 owners over Microsoft's live service. You can almost taste the testosterone.
RNA scores. Artifact taken. Lineage.
And a recent event in London gave us a taste of exactly what you can expect when mouse and keyboard wielders take on the joypad jousters. Multiplayer games running across both systems prove beyond doubt that the technology works. The exclusive footage you may well now be salivating over, we captured on the day, direct from an Xbox 360 during live cross-platform gameplay. The PC version, in case you're wondering, is indistinguishable. So it was with the beaming gaze of a proud father that studio manager Mitch Gittelman watched over proceedings. FASA, it's worth noting, created the first online title for Xbox Live in MechWarrior. Now they're leading the charge once again in uniting 360 and PC gamers. No pressure then.
Oh, pressure? Yes, every day, absolutely. But you know, one of my bosses once told me pressure makes diamonds, so I've had to live that a lot. But yes, being the first live Games for Windows Live Anywhere game, being the first cross-platform game, that's a lot of pressure. But more important than that, you know, we're game developers and we're focused on making great games. And if you keep that in mind and keep your mind on the game, you can drown out everything else.
The concept of cross-platform gaming is undoubtedly a useful PR weapon in the console war, but why should gamers actually care?
Lineage scores.
Really, it's just bringing everybody together. It's the future, and this is just a step towards the future. You know, being able to chat with people around the world, you know, being able to play with people around the world. It's just evolution. you know. And for some people, they're very interested in finding out who's superior, mouse, keyboard versus controller. That's not what we're about. We're just trying to make it so that as many people as possible can play Shadowrun together.
An obvious problem, surely, is creating a level playing field for two very different methods of control. Yes, we know PC users can now use an Xbox 360 pad, but let's face it, for FPS fans it's mouse and keyboard all the way. So that must have been, well, tricky.
Tricky? I won't say tricky. It was surprising at times. You know, when we first started out, the controller completely dominated the mouse. That was a shock to us, and then we figured out why and stuff. And it took us about 3 months, really, to balance it. What we did was we took the design team from Crimson Skies and Mech Assault, and then put them under the leadership of John Howard, the lead designer of Halo. And between those people, they really know their controls, and they got it relatively rapidly.
Now, as we all know, hell hath no fury like a fanboy scorned. And with Shadowrun beginning life as a pen and paper RPG, and later an acclaimed action RPG on SNES, FASA's decision to turn it into a first-person shooter has had the geeks rattling their 20-sided dice with rage.
Well, we had done a lot of work on our other IPs, Crimson Skies and the Mech series, etc. We'd always wanted to make a Shadowrun game, all of us. But really what happened was, when you look at the team, you have to, when you're somebody in my position, a studio manager, you have to look at who you have and what they're excellent at and play to their strengths. So when you have the designers for a great, airplane game like Crimson Skies or the mech games, etc., and then when you hire the lead designer of Halo, you really should make a first-person shooter, and you really should make it multiplayer. These people specialize in that.
Content-wise, there's been disappointment expressed over Shadowrun's lack of maps and a true single-player mode. Nevertheless, FASA is sticking to its guns, arguing for quality over quantity.
But the important thing about this is most first-person shooters, because they really are all about the same core gameplay mechanic, put your reticle on the enemy and shoot them. Here with all of the very different gameplay that we've put into it, you can replay the same map over and over and over and over, and no two games are ever the same. One of the maps that we're showing you guys here today, we've personally been playing for 3 years, and it's still fun.
But don't take his word for it. One of Team Eurogamer's elite snipers was employed to go hands-on with both versions.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it obviously does the whole multiplayer arena combat thing really well. It's really polished, smooth, graphically nice, etc. The maps are really interesting. They've got kind of quite interesting vertical scales because of the special abilities in the game that allow you to teleport and fly high and stuff. And it was interesting watching one of the guys from Microsoft play it because he was using the full vertical range of the map, whereas everybody else was running around treating it like a conventional game. Certainly today I didn't notice, you couldn't tell what platform people were playing it on, even though that half the people were playing it on PCs and half the people were playing it on 360s.
Keen to ramp up the excitement about PC gaming in general, Games for Windows boss Rich Wickham was also in town to extol the virtues of Vista, parading some of the hottest PC titles on the horizon, including Crysis and Halo 2.
Why now for Games for Windows? Because obviously we've got the launch of Windows Vista and there's a lot of really cool gamer-friendly features in Vista. But also because I think we realize that it's time that we reinvest and that while we may have had our eye off the ball a little bit, it's time to get it back on that and do the right thing by Windows gamers.
Doing the right thing here includes launching live on Windows. And with Shadowrun as the torch carrier, Wickham insists cross-platform is more than just a marketing novelty.
Well, I think it will interest people beyond the hardcore because I think the concept of a 360 gamer and a PC gamer being connected is something that is interesting to people beyond just the core gamers today. But I think for the core, it's really interesting, right? In fact, our research shows that most 360 owners play games on their PC already. And, my console playing friends, I've got a good friend that I do play Xbox Live with who lives in New York and I live in Seattle. The idea that he's going to be able to play Shadowrun on his console, which is his preferred way, and I can play on my mouse and keyboard on my Windows machine, and kick his ass. That's a good thing. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
And if a magical FPS doesn't quite tickle your fancy, there's plenty more to come.
You will see a number of third-party titles on Xbox or Games for Windows Live very soon. I don't have an announcement today, but we're working really closely with the third parties. This isn't just a Microsoft Games online service. This is a Windows worldwide online gaming service, and we intend to support it that way. And I think the publishers and developers will do the same thing.
So, whatever the console kids say, PC looks to be in rude health right now.
2007 has got a lineup of titles that we probably haven't seen in 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, when you think about games like Crysis, Hellgate London, Bioshock, a DX10 version of Company of Heroes, Supreme Commander, World in Conflict. I mean, I could go on for a while, right? I mean, there are more AAA titles coming out on the platform in 2007. Age of Conan is another great one. That I don't think it's been this good for a very long time.
Join us at our brand new offices for the biggest announcement in Sports Interactive's history, said the email. Bigger than signing for Sega? Bigger than leaving Championship Manager behind to create Football Manager? Well, as anyone who has ever had their life consumed by an SI title before knows, big just doesn't do justice to the potential of Football Manager Live, announced just over a week ago at the studio's shiny new stadium in North London. The team that made spreadsheets cool for a generation of wannabe Wengers aims to do it all over again with the MMO. Think Football Manager meets Fantasy Football meets eBay and you're already on the team sheet. Studio boss Miles Jacobson is usually the man in the media spotlight on these occasions, but FM Live is the brainchild of Collier, who founded the company with brother Paul way back in the early 90s. So the siblings made a rare public appearance to unveil their latest game and take the piss out of Miles before submitting themselves to the whims of a ravenous press corps. Football Manager Live, we learn, is the game that made Ov Collier come home after walking out on his teammates several years ago.
I think there's only so much time you can, spend wandering and travelling and stuff. I think, I think Paul and I created Championship Manager and then Football Manager and from the start, and I think when you've done something like that, you can't just stop. And very much for me, it was the feeling that I wanted to do something else. I wanted to get back involved.
Ov and his tiny team have been locked in secret training sessions for ages, well away from the main Football Manager squad. But the first inklings that they had a potential match winner on their hands emerged as testing was finally thrown open to colleagues.
But a lot of people at Sega have been banned from playing the game because they were playing it too much. But looking back at the stats, there were 2 people that literally it was half of their working week was spent playing the game.
Which you'd argue is a very good use of
It's a very good. Well, when the email got sent round, Ov thought it was genius, and I got quite upset because it was buggering up our test plan.
With FM's reputation as a homewrecker set in stone, the addictive properties of Live should come as no surprise. And here's a little taster of what to expect. Signing up is easy, and once you've named your team, picked a badge, and selected your squad within budget, you're ready to go. No real teams here, but Football Manager's peerless player database is there for you to plunder, with an auction-style system employed for transfer dealings. Menus are a doddle to navigate, and the chat room is your first point of call for flexing those managerial muscles and setting up a game. Once in-game, the match engine will be instantly familiar to FM veterans. The key difference is strict time limits on tactical changes during stoppages, so both players must make changes under pressure, like a real manager. If you haven't already, check out Kristen's championship-winning preview on Eurogamer.net for an in-depth look at everything this early version has to offer. And if you're really lucky, you might even get onto next month's beta.
We're looking for a real mixed bag for the beta test as well. It's not just going to be people from our forums. We want people from Eurogamer, but we also want people from the News of the World and from Radio 1, and getting a good cross-section of people playing, because the feedback's going to be invaluable in steering the game in the direction that it ends up being in.
Indeed, SI expects Football Manager Live to reach the parts that traditional FM titles simply can't.
Fantasy football fans, we want playing the game. Lapsed FM fans, people whose circumstances have changed and who now have a wife or have kids or are really busy at work and therefore don't have the time to play it anymore.
A casual MMO might sound like an oxymoron, especially if you've ever met any Warcraft players. But for those already fearing for their relationships, rest assured that FM Live is being crafted with genuine casual users in mind. Honest, Gov.
This is a casual MMO. You know, this is a casual, mass market, massively multiplayer game that's based around football.
And we also have scope as well for having a game world that's actually running slightly differently from each other. So you could have a situation where there is a game world that, you know, a small number of game worlds that are more suited to the hardcore player, and then other ones, you know, which are more suited to people who don't have so much time or don't want to invest so much time in it.
So, for those of you who don't want your marriage to become just another statistic, there's no humiliation in moderation.
I think our record per year was 37 divorce cases in 1 year.
Because we were cited in divorce cases, you know, in the past, we just feel really, really, really bad about that. Okay, so the idea is that in this game, people are actually going to meet each other. So you're going to have some women playing this, and they're going to actually meet their husband on this. So we're kind of trying to, you know, reset the balance.
I'm going to get married because of FML.
That first Football Manager wedding is surely just around the corner. And if you do fancy going on the pull on the pitch, just like our cameraman James almost certainly does, FM Live looks set to cost far less than your average internet dating site.
We want the client to be free. Sega want the client to be free. So we're looking at a subscription-based model per month, preferably for the price of a few pints. We see it as a money-saving exercise because the amount of time you won't be in the pub compared to the amount of time you're playing the game will mean that the game is an absolute bargain.
Husband-wife finding...
Yeah,
unless more pubs have wireless networks.
Oh my God, can you imagine people sitting over their laptops playing the game in the pub?
Yeah.
So it's
divorces and bankruptcies. Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing.
One man who has survived a lifetime of football with his marriage miraculously intact is Ray Houghton, former star midfielder of the great Liverpool side of the 80s. He's been working on the touchline with SI for years, helping to fine-tune the match engine.
Well, initially it was quite easy because there was so much going on because you know, you'd set players to mark certain players from defensive situations, corners, free kick, and then all of a sudden they would all chase after the one player and they would leave the middle of the goal. So really it was going back to your basics, you know, what a football team would do, how a defence would look, how a midfield. So when you look at the match engine, you've got to try and see a shape. Because there's no contact, because the counters can't contact each other, that's going to be for future. You know, so when you see challenges, people are going up for headers and they're, you know, falling over or for whatever reason, then we can add that in as we go along.
As big a deal as Football Manager Live undoubtedly is, these guys just don't do serious for long, and that's part of the charm. Squillions of game sales and a cabinet full of awards later, at heart, they're still just the same old bunch of footy fanboys.
Best job you could get, it's great fun.
Yeah, it's just addictive. It's for the people out there who are addicted to playing the games, then you can't get off it. Believe me, I can't get off being addicted to actually making this. So.
And I've never been abused during a press conference before. So we did supposedly have an arrangement last night, me and Ov, that the banter was going to stop from today. But no, the short jokes come in from him, and the ball jokes come in from me, and it just keeps on going. We haven't even started on Dov's yet, so. But that comes later.
Gentlemen, you have 11 months to get in your wife's good books.
Yeah.